So you guys have a powerful class waiting on you today. It's called Lighthouse of the Soul. I've linked the channel for it and how to get that up at the top of the chat if you feel like it. And there are hundreds and hundreds of other classes and channeling, sound healings, and things where you can support me there. Hey, David Redbird. Hey, Granny Rants. Hey, Dystopian Visions. Hi, Skybird. So that's there and linked for you. But that's where most of my work is. That's why I haven't been here as much, because I've been super busy over on Patreon. We had over a 2-hour class today about unentangling suffering in the collective from lies and empowerment. So I wanted to actually talk about that a little bit today and share with you something I call the Ascension training for 2023, which is a simple awareness of where we are in the collective and what we're actually working towards, and how to tap in from exactly where you are and release certain karmic themes. So there are a lot of karmic themes that we do need to release and heal before 2023. And time is ticking, right? So the biggest blocks that I'm seeing are based upon disempowerment and lies. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, because most people think, when I think about, lies, you might be saying to yourself that when I think about lies, it's from either the collective or what's going on right now in the world, the lies in the systems, those obvious things, lies from people around you. I'm talking about starting with understanding the reflection, understanding that there are some disempowerment based lies in you. There are the energy of lies in you in order for you to even see and be threatened by it. You can see all the disempowerment and lies going on in the collective, but in order for it to cause you to feel stuck, to cause you to have physical or emotional maladies and suffering, in order for it to really affect you and hold you back in your ascension, um, you would really need to be seeing it and allowing it to seep into your core. You can see it, right, and choose to live differently. But if you see it and it's really triggering you and catalyzing you, that means you've let it seep into your core. You've taken that reflection and you've decided to remain stuck. And that is a personal decision. So the biggest blocks right now that I see in what we need to release and heal before 2023 are disempowerment and lies. Those are the biggest things. Lies we tell ourselves, lies we allow to permeate our well-trained mind and our pure energy structures, lies that we allow to come into our systems and cause rips and holes and tears in the auric field. And this requires a lot of thought and frequency management. We still have some work to do before we go into 2023. Okay. So these lies that we allow, the self-sabotage that we're doing, the self-sacrifice because we're too afraid that our truth is going to disempower or hurt someone's feelings, right? It's time to move forward from these things, and it's time to let them go. All right. So, in order to let them go, we have to be aware of how that's coming in through our lives personally. And we also have to be aware of what we've experienced. All right. Again, big, long 2-hour version of this class on my Patreon. Okay. But I do want to add some things as well. Just a few things that we didn't get a chance to talk about on the Patreon class as well, that's been coming through from the Galactic Council of Nine about these themes. All right. The biggest theme that we need to release is lack of self-esteem. We did end up talking about this in the class, again, linked above in the chat. And self-esteem is typically something that we are always searching for, much like how we're always searching for inspiration, motivation, empowerment. Self-esteem is one of these fancy little ghosts. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Self-esteem is like a farcical tale before you really deeply integrate what that even means. Before you know what it means, Don't worry, I'm going to tell you in a second what you've been really conditioned to believe that it means, um, is that it's something that just is in you or isn't in you. It's something that you are either born with and you feel good about, and some people just magically have confidence and self-esteem and inspiration and the motivation that comes therewith, or they just magically don't. You can actually spark it, ignite it, um, direct it, and create from it, even if you feel you've never, ever, ever had it, no matter how much trauma you've had, no matter what negative core beliefs you've had to work through to get to where you are when you're listening to me right now. What the council has shared with me is that self esteem is based upon lies that other people tell you, or lies that other people tell you to compliment you and build you up because they're afraid of truth, or lies that they are using to pull you down, right? We were talking about this a little bit in class today in terms of people who overly compliment or pull you down. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. This is a big misperception, right? You can go back into really asking yourself, when is the first time you felt someone strip away your self-esteem? And you're likely to say it could be really early childhood. The first time I remember it is age 10, right? Age 10. I shared this story in class, but I'm going to share it on YouTube as well, because the two instances that I went back to in my own negative core belief systems, and it wasn't unlike anything that so many of you haven't shared with me. I was 10 years old, and we had this family babysitter. His name was Ron. He's amazing. He's an amazing guy on so many levels. But he thought he was like giving me a hard truth that would help me decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. And at the time, you're 10, so you go through the ice skating stage and the gymnast stage and the I want to be an equestrian stage and all of these different things. And at the time, it was a gymnast. And I was one of these gymnasts that was kind of just strong. I had just started classes. It had only been about 6 months. And, Ron, the babysitter, comes over with me and my friend Allison, and he says, what do you want to be when you grow up? I notice you're all into, you talk about ice skating a lot, but we live in the South. We don't have a rink, and you're really good at the gymnast stuff, and you're really good at the music. So what do you want to be when you grow up? This is so programmed, right? And this adult male figure that I really loved and trusted so much, when I told him, he shot me down. I said, "I wanna be a gymnast." Every 10-year-old goes through that, right? I wanna be a gymnast. And I was one of these gymnasts that was like, I was like a workhorse, and I loved the vault and the balance beam and the floor exercises. I was a little scared of the back handsprings, but I loved anything that showed my power in terms of like my legs, and things like the strength in my legs and things. And I was just like a muscle type built person. And he said, you're gonna get older. This is what he said to me. You're gonna get older, and you're going to get taller, and you're going to get bigger. You're just big boned. I'm 10. What does big boned even mean? Right? I'm looking around at my friends, and we're all sharing the same clothes. So I'm not any bigger or smaller than anyone else. I'm 10 at this stage. This is how a well meaning adult can purposely knock down your self esteem and say that that's truth, say that that's going to build you, say that that's loving, right? And it wasn't. The second time, I was a junior in high school, and a really powerful band director that I loved told me, he said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "Oh, I want to be a clarinetist, and I want to travel around the world for a few years before I settle down in my life and have kids. I'm playing in an orchestra." And he held up his hands and he said, "Can you count these fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." And he actually made me count them. It was very denigrating. Um, So I said, "Oh, yes, I can count." Made me do that. And he said, "Well, obviously you can't, because the fingers I'm holding up on this hand are the amount of clarinetists I know that are equally as good as you, that actually made it into very good orchestras." Oh, and by the way, he was wrong. I did end up being a clarinetist in an orchestra for a whole year, and then I traveled with the opera for 2 years thereafter singing. So, not everyone is right. Not everyone is right about who you are, right? And I kind of wonder about with the other story and that belief with how that came about with self-esteem and all of the denigrating divine masculine just pulling me apart. I kind of thought later, wow, you would I struggle with weight today had I not had that. It's a question to ask. But do I want to stay in that or remain stuck in it? No, because that's also one of the things that we have to release this year. All of us together being stuck in that, right? So, based upon conditioning, something that you believe about yourself from the past, or that someone's caused you to believe about yourself from the past, or sometimes we can go into lack of self-esteem problems because we're focusing too much on the compliments that other people have given us as well because they're afraid to tell us the truth. There's the other side of that that we want to work with, okay? Because people can compliment too much, you know. I played around with this theory yesterday. I put up a post in Patreon and in my Facebook spiritual group. And I said, if you list one word that describes me, I'll intuit one word that I feel describes you. I would just intuit it. And many of you I didn't know, so I just had to intuit it. And I had people saying things like bodhisattva, and I'm like, obviously you haven't met me. I had people saying things that I could relate to, like grace. I love grace. But no one mentioned my jealousy or my wrath. I have it big time. No one mentioned like the times when I can have a huge ego and get in my own way. No one mentioned the times when I can feel attacked and then project from that and then lose friends. No one mentioned the stuff that I consider weaknesses that I know about myself that I really need to work on in order to have self-esteem in 2023. So I want you to do that for yourself. I really want you to see the weaknesses in you, and don't be afraid to use weakness, because if you want to grow in 2023, this isn't lacking in self-love. This is creatively powerful when you can list both your strengths and your weaknesses and then question them. Question them deeply. Is it true that I have that strength, or am I projecting based upon a compliment? Is it true that I have that weakness, or am I projecting that from a belief that someone told me deep, about myself, and when someone broke my dream in childhood and pulled my powerful, my powerful energies into something to cause me to suffer, and then said they did it because they love me, right? This is what humans do, and we're still carrying this right now. We're still carrying this right now. So Ascension training is about awareness of our strengths and weaknesses creatively and what we can do to take charge of our destiny. There's a difference between fate and destiny. Do you understand what that difference is? Fate is something that's just going to happen no matter what. And so many of you find that you fight that. Destiny is when you say, okay, I get a good idea of where my life is going, and this is what I'm going to do to change it. I love destiny. It doesn't matter where the future is going. What matters is how you can creatively be aware of what your strengths and weaknesses truly are so that you can manifest who and what you are from truth, not projection. That's destiny. Can you do it? I know you can. So, here are the things we need to release. Are you ready? Here are the things that we need to let go of. Lack of self-esteem is number one. Number two, now let's talk about this because you guys are going to eat me alive when I tell you. Being afraid of money. How many people are afraid to get paid? You're afraid of being a part of a system that is collapsing, but let me give you something from the Galactic Council today. That system is still here. And unless you want to be broke and not have food on your table and not have a platform to serve the world, you need money. You need it. You want it. You like it. You love it. The end. Need it, want it, like it, love it. Give yourself permission. For goodness sake, get paid. There is nothing wrong. I don't know what kind of caste system is coming across in ancient times into modern spirituality, but you're still holding on to it like you're in a past lifetime in ancient India. Are you done? Right? Are you still holding on to that patriarchal pain that you also are resistant to and fighting and saying is wrong? You want the patriarchy to collapse, and at the same time, you're afraid of money? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The divine feminine is rising, and we are in a system of money. Tell me how far you've gotten off grid, and I'll tell you when something's going to break and when you're going to need to go into town to buy something, because you can't make everything with your hands. You can't make everything with your hands. There are only a few people who have that degree of advocacy and prowess and talent to work with wood, work with metals, and what are you going to go do? When you need tools, are you going to go mine them from the earth? Very few people know how to do that. No, you're going to go to Ace Hardware, or you're going to get a good deal on Amazon. Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Do you think you can live without money? You can't right now. We're not in the paradigm right now. So fighting that and equating money with falling patriarchy, it's true and untrue at the same time, right? Of course, the system of money is falling, but what's falling first is the system of control of the money, taxing of the money, bogarting the money, et cetera, et cetera. And you can't be afraid of receiving money if you're also going to have a platform to work from in this world, because the world still runs around it, whether you like it or not. So your energy towards money right now, please heal it, the council says. Please, please, please take that into a deep healing, I beg of you. You need it, you want it, you like it, you love it, the end. Say it right now. I need money. I like money. I want money. I love money. And so it is, right? And so it is. You need to release your fear of not having it and your distaste when you do. Right? Some of you are like, but I don't have any money. And I'm like, okay, you want it? Well, no, I don't really like that system. I don't really. No, more is ridiculous when you decide you like something, like it. Right? Um, let's go toward the third thing. You're fighting old systems. You're fighting fire with fire. So when systems need to collapse, what happens is people get together and they individually and collectively create new, powerful, loving systems of love and light and equality. And that is happening. It's happening. Those of you who are experiencing the fifth dimension right now really understand what I'm talking about. Can you feel it happening? I see it happening. I feel it happening. I'm living it too, aren't you? Or are you one of those that says, you know what? We need to get up together and go do more protests and rallies and go burn more shit down, and create more cruelty and destruction in order to fight the cruelty and destruction. Is that a fifth dimensional approach or not? If you say yes right now, you don't belong in the fifth dimensional existence. You just won't. That's not 5D. You can't burn it down. It is fire. And it's terrible. It's loathsome. It's terrorizing. I understand. I see it too. I'm not blind. I remote view every single night. And at the same time, what I'm more passionate about is together, all of us building more systems that we can use so that we don't become dependent upon that. But going out there fighting it and becoming a keyboard warrior and just doing protests once or twice or three times a week, that's not going to stop it. Us building systems independently and interdependently for our families and each other's families, us building systems where we don't need all that patriarchy and that terror, that's what's going to make it go down. It'll burn itself down if you GTFO of it. Right? And begin to build your systems. Do you understand? Build your own systems. No more keyboard worrying. We're all aware of it. We are all aware of it. The people that are in it and doing it are aware of it. And they want you to be glued to your TVs and to your social media, in pain and fighting. And you call that spreading awareness. That's crap. I'm going to call you on it. Okay? Do more. Step into your sacred action. is what the council has shared about this. Step into your sacred action. Less talk, more walk. All right. Um, any questions about that? Because I know some people are really resistant to not continuing to be in constant fighting in order to get rid of all the terror. You want to fight more. You want to protest more. You want to be in that resistant energy. I know it's charismatic. I know it's passionate. I know it's pulling, but karma is charismatic and passionate and pulling, and that's how it gets you. That's how it gets you. And before you know it, you're not sleeping in at night and you're not eating well, and you're just any little person cuts you off in traffic and you're like, right? Right? Before you know it, you're that person that no one wants to be around because all you do is pay attention to Sky News and you're like, "But I know what's going on." "I know you do, you're smart." So you're that smart? Help us build new systems. You're that smart? Let's talk about what we can do to shift without not without burning it down. It doesn't if we don't extend our energy to the system, how is it gonna survive? You don't put your energy into it, how's it gonna survive? Right? That vibration of fighting is just not going to help. It's really not as we go towards what we need to release. Right? Exactly. Ben Savage here in chat said, if it's not love, it probably won't last. Yeah. Your intuition and guidance is blocked. Well, why? What do you think intuition and guidance is? We can talk about that too, but a lot of people think it's seeing things and hearing things. It's not. It's so much deeper than that. Right? Okay. Number 4, projection. Everyone is busy projecting their own pain onto other people still. We need to release that in order to ascend in 2023. Right? We're all really, really in this to some degree. Every single person I know projects. It's a part of a collective wounding. Are you ready to let that go? Yes, projection, deflection is more of a technique that people use, right? When they really don't want to talk about themselves, they deflect, right? That's something that goes along with it. But projection is a really big problem right now that we're going to need to purposely, consciously stop doing, right? Number 5, giving away your power. You need to, and I'm going to talk to you about what that looks like. When you give away your power, it always starts with a lie. And I know you love these broad, sweeping generalizations, but there are some things you can't get away from. And one of them is, when you feel disempowered, that is built upon a foundation of dishonest energy. Is it true or is it not? Right? When you feel disempowered energy, you've allowed someone to twist your truth, or you believe someone's lie about you or about them. Lies don't sit well in your body. They cause disease and they cause disempowerment. And the more disempowerment you have, the more disease you have mentally and physically. Okay. And you just feel terrible. But we aren't really trained to know what lack of truth feels like, much less to associate it with lack of power. Right. So if we can move past these energy themes, we can be more prepared for the powerful cosmic energy coming in 2023. Okay. I want you to stay with me to the end of this sharing of this channeling from the Council of Nine, as well as all the things coming through, because I do have a powerful light code to share with you that clears suffering from lies and disempowerment. And I'm going to share it at the end of this channeling in class. Okay. Okay. So if you want self-esteem, here's what you do. Going back to lack of self-esteem, right? You need to be a person that you'd enjoy being around. And you're going to say that that's faking it. You're going to say that that's the fake it till you make it principle. But here's why it's not. When you go into meditation, are you faking it? Or are you trying to become a better individual and to connect to God and connect to your soul so that you can manifest your highest and best you? Or are you faking it? How is this different? How is being a person that you would want to be around, being the best lover, the best spouse that you would want to be around, the best teacher that you would be around, healer that you would want to be around, channel, friend, etc. How is that faking it? Or is that simple accountability? Taking what you know about Ascension and applying it, right? Um, if this is faking it, then so are all the other spiritual practices out there that you're doing in order to get better, to be a better, more creative, more powerful individual. It's not faking it to also look at your personality complex and say, you know what? I'm operating from disempowerment. I'm feeling those lies in my gut, and I want to extricate them instead of project them. I want to release suffering instead of project it. I want to own my truth and live in truth instead of lies which turn into disempowerment, disease, pain, suffering, and eventually death. How is that faking it? You've got to practice that. It doesn't instantaneously come, much like how grounding, clearing, purification, meditation, astral travel, remote viewing, psychic channeling, psychic mediumship, much like how that doesn't come naturally and you have to train into that. You have to train into that to step into the power of the God mind and of the soul. It's the same with being a better person and raising your energy. You have to practice raising your vibration. So when you say, I want to be the person that other people want to be around, I want to be the person that I want to be around, there's two different things. When you want to be the person that other people want to be around, that's faking it. You see the difference? When you want to be the person that you want to be around, you're actually learning. Oh, what is that? What type of person do I really want to be around? So I was going deeply into this. Um, my middle son, no, wait, I don't have a middle son because there's three. He's my youngest son. He just turned 16. And when I was pregnant with him, I was trying to get a really good feel for his energy. And the Galactic Council said he's the type of person that anyone would want to be around. And I said, oh, but I don't really know what that looks like. And they said, well, what type of person do you, what type of person would you enjoy being around? And I started really thinking about that. And I realized I had deeply generalized it and just said, well, because spirituality says I really want to love everyone and I want to be a compassionate human being. Have you done this to yourself before? Therefore, I should enjoy being around everybody. So I should be that type of person that anyone would enjoy being around. Well, not especially. That's a bit of a lie. It didn't feel good. So at the time I said, okay, I want someone that's humble. I want to be around people that are humble, somewhat quiet, but they'll talk. They're not the life of the party, but they're not the wallflower either. They don't sit in the corner. They will make me laugh and I will make them laugh. I want to be around a kid who, is knowing himself enough, but also really conscientious and always wanting to learn more about himself. Now, I was in the line of Starbucks while I was talking to my guides and doing all this. I wasn't in a deep meditation or a Zen moment. And and the counselor said, psst, 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 look right there. And I looked and there was this guy and he was just shiny. He was handing me my coffee and he was like a little college guy. And his name said Eli. That was the name on the tag. And he smiled in a way that he didn't even have to talk and I wanted to be around him. He had long brown hair, big brown eyes, a little bit of acne, but it didn't bother him, big red lips, and he had a laugh that could amuse the angels. A little bit of insecurity. Could tell there were some things he was working through, but he just kind of didn't give any fucks. And my guide said, yeah, that's your son. And I went, oh, you're just showing me what it would be like. And then I watched. And throughout the course of the years, they kept showing me the vision. And I had met my son in the future at the time. That was him in the future. That was his entire energy projecting so that I could see exactly the type of son I wanted to raise. And time just converged. And I met my son while he was still in my belly. And I said, oh, your name is Eli. And you are delightful and a little insecure and different and really freaking weird. And I just adore you. Right? I met my son before I could even possibly know what that would be like. And now he's in high school and he's doing things that I could never possibly perceive him doing. And I'm so proud of him. I'm kind of mom gloating, so bear with me, but he got like most devoted this year, out of all the teams at the marching band competition. There's like 20 something, marching bands, and he got a little award for most devoted because he drug himself in, even though he's slightly overweight and tired and doesn't like to work out. He drug himself in all summer long, and his legs were hurting, and he got sunburn all over his pale skin, and he was still laughing and smiling and making everyone feel good. First person to show up, last person to leave, always wanting to learn. Sometimes came home crying too. There's a little bit of that. Right? This is the type of kid that I wanted to be around because he's also a person that's really understands it, humble enough to get it, and open enough to learn, and still powerful, but quietly powerful, right? So I want you to be a person you'd enjoy being around. Call in those people as well. This is a practice. It takes time. Don't give up. It takes time, right? About giving away your power, we talked a lot about projection, but if you have questions, just ask me. About giving away your power, I want you to become aware of how and when you give away your power, not why. Why is pretty useless in Ascension. We can go back and blame it on a past life, or we can continue to blame our parents, or we could be mature, growing, creative, powerful adults. We could be light bodies in training. This is a decision we have to make, but when we become aware of how and when we are giving away our power, that's really going to help us, okay? How do we do that? Well, we need to determine how lies actually sit in our bodies. That's going to be really important, how to know, not just when other people are lying. That got easier since 2020, right? That got easier. But how do you know when you're actually projecting your entire essence from a lie? How do you know when you're holding back your spiritual connection to God and Goddess from a lie? How do you know that that's your block, right? How do you know that you're not stuck just staying stuck and blaming it on childhood or past lives and core beliefs? All right. You are only accountable for who you believe you are. Now, hear me on this. Not what other people say you are, not just the compliments, and certainly not all the crap. If I was listening to all the crap, I would have shut down YouTube by now because holy cow. Sometimes I got to have people like monitor my comments. You guys get nasty sometimes. Or you do the other thing. You do the, oh my goodness, you're this perfect light bird in person. And I'm like, oh my God, please come to my house. You'll see in a moment that I'm the most relatable person who struggles just like anyone else. I'm just more aware of it. And you can be too. I'm not different than you. We can train in this Ascension module together, right? To be more aware of our energy, right? So you are accountable for who you are. I'll try to hold you accountable. That's the Lilith in me. Those are all the beings who are coming through. But you need to learn how to recognize how a lie sits. So let's talk about that. I'm going to borrow the acronym that I got from my coach. If you want to know his name is Rand St. John. You can go look him up on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. He's incredible. So I do have a mindset coach because I'm always training my mindset. He's amazing. Yes, Emmy?
Where's my folder? Where's the folder?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Where's the Thursday school folder? I'll sign it later, baby. I got this acronym from him, and this is one of the ways that you know that you are BSing yourself. Okay. Rand St. John, Rand, R-A-N-D-S-T, St. John. Look that up on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I think he's on TikTok now. He's everywhere. You'll see all of his little reels. He is one of my newer mindset coaches, and he's amazing. Well, actually, the only new mindset coach. I haven't done a mindset coaching since 2004. My goodness. So this is his acronym, SNAB. Write that down, SNAB, or SNOB. Do you like that? This is how you can tell. You're snobbing yourself. Sounds nice, actually BS. And then I'll give you my 2 acronyms as well after this. So write that down. Sounds nice, actually BS. This is how I can tell when lies are coming my direction and it's just not exactly where I am. Not that people are attempting to lie. People see what they see, but it's just compliments that don't mean anything. They get me anywhere. They don't get me past my weaknesses. They don't help me past my negative core beliefs. They don't really build my self-esteem because I'm not dropping into that truth and going, oh yeah, I'm a bodhisattva. No, it sounds nice, but it's actually BS. I'm not a bodhisattva. Most people I know are not a bodhisattva. We are busy embodying the bodhisattva, becoming the bodhisattva. Now that I can align with, that we're all becoming that. But I am certainly not the only one. That sounds nice, but it's actually BS, right? Because if I told myself I'm a bodhisattva, what the hell would I ever learn? And how would I ever embody if I just walked around going, hello, I'm a bodhisattva. Hi. I'm going to raise my hand like Kuan Yin right now. That happens when I'm channeling or singing, sure, but I need to embody that into the rest of my life so that I can be true with it and feel it. And by the way, bodhisattvas never say I'm a bodhisattva. They just never. I can't ever. I know I'm a really big, broad, sweeping, generalizing person, but there are some nevers and always in these teachings. I've not once heard a bodhisattva say I'm a bodhisattva. Have you? Right? Have you heard gurus say I'm your guru? No. Guru, by the way, is another dead word that we're not bringing into 2023, thankfully. But bodhisattva, we can all embody. And simultaneously, we got a lot of work to go. Oh, excuse me. So, sounds nice, actually, yes. That's my friend Ren's acronym. Right. Here's the next one. Here's how you know you're lying. Stall. Sounds true, actually lies. So we try to tell ourselves things that we think are truths, but they're actually lies and more lies. That's why stall is an acronym, has 2 L's, because it's a lie built upon a lie. It's like we lie and then we have to have another cover up so that people don't see it or so that we don't feel ashamed, right? So let me give you an example. All of you do it. Me too. Don't worry. We're all in this together. Let me show you how. Just hang on with me before you think that I'm trying to discourage you or shame you. I'm not. Here's how we do it. Has someone ever called and you just really don't want to talk to them right now? You're going through, your ascension awareness. You're going through, coming out of so much. And someone calls that you really don't want to hear from. And they haven't texted first. They probably already sent, 1, 2, 3 emails. What do you say when you pick up the phone? What do you say? Go ahead, type it in chat. How do you respond when someone you don't want to hear from? And it doesn't mean you don't like them. You could be busy. You could be really not having a good day and you don't want to put out your vitriol energetically all over them, right? What do you say when you actually sabotage yourself and betray yourself by picking up that phone? Because by the way, that's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. Your time is so important. It is so sacred. It is so powerful. Your time is your greatest power in 2023. Did you hear me? Your time is your greatest power, right? So what do you say when you pick up the phone? I don't answer perfect, but a lot of times you do. Well, what happens when you do? I use caller ID, this guy said. No, I mean when it's your mom or it's your kid's homeroom teacher or your kid's principal. Right? Oh, hey, sorry, I was busy. No, you don't. Oh, hey, how you doing? I was just thinking about you. It's good to hear from you. Yes, you do, because you want to be compassionate. You want to be nice. So I don't know about all you bodhisattvas on here who are saying you don't. Good for you, but there are so many more people in the world that are actually Oh, hey. Right. Hey. Yeah, hey. Right. You do it. Or like when it's your mom again and you're like, "Yeah, mom, what hey, mom." And then your mom's all over your shit for the next 20 minutes and you're like, "I gotta go. I love you. Okay, bye." Right? So that sounds true, that energy, but it's actually lies. So what do you say when people are attacking you? This is like family, friends, people you know, not just salespeople and strangers. Okay. When they're like, you know what? You're not really a great mom. You're not really doing enough for the family. How about this? How about that? What do you say? Right? Typically, you will either avoid them or you will find some other way to not reach a confrontation. You will walk away. You will do anything other than taking the flashlight of their energy and turning it around right back into their face because you think that's confrontation, don't you? So, my next acronym, NMBS, it means next most believable step to get out of pain. It also means no more BS, because that's what you're going to get. No more lies, no more BS. NMBS. Okay. Next most believable step. So when you're in that moment, what the brain does to get out of pain and suffering, it actually takes a lie and it goes, oh my God, what if it's true? Or sometimes it goes, I don't even know what to say right now. Or sometimes it goes, I must defend myself. You are accountable for who you believe you are. Got a whole class about this today. All right. So, in terms of speaking and expressing your truth, what do you think is going to happen if you do it? Ask yourself that. What's the worst thing that could happen? They argue with you. Okay, then you can walk away. But there are other ways to handle this. You have to really step in to the energy of your truth and what is a lie that someone's trying to project upon you. Okay. So here's your light code. I'll turn this off so you can see it. This is the one that we're working on for December, one of the biggest ones. All right. And I've got well, insofar as the closest English interpretation I possibly could give you, this is your light code. You can learn light language too. All right. This one is Pleiadian with a little bit of pigeoning into Lemurian, but mostly Pleiadian. Okay. So Jaye Svarya Tuvare Kuatare Rayalma. That's your light code. It means blessings and vibrational light to clear the suffering. I clear it now. The collective pain rises into collective love. I'm going to say it again. Jaye Svareya Tuvare Kotare Rayalma. Got it? You can learn light language. We're always going to find some human reference point and say, oh, that sounds like Japanese, or that sounds like this or that. And Jaye Svareya Tuvare Kuatare Rayalma. Right. So practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. All right. You can get my full 2-hour teaching on this that I did today on my Patreon channel, linked above. Otherwise, I will see you. And we went deep into it. We pulled a person on screen. We did 4 other practices. We did so much more. If you want that class, all right, it's linked to the top of the chat. It was long too, much longer than this. So I will see you on Sunday for the Atlanteans. We're channeling the Atlanteans to talk about their perspective on what we're going through and how humanity started. All right. And they're going to talk about their perspective of Lemurians and original humans as well. All right. So we're kind of doing this a little bit at a time. When Lemurians came in, we did that channeling. Now we're talking from when Atlanteans came in and what happened from there. And we're taking galactic history and human history a little bit at a time. So see you on Sunday for that here. All right. Bye.